Hello my Pixel people, I am the Exogenesis, and today we've got a really strange video, and I say really strange because I've not actually got anything written down, and I've got loads of ideas floating around in my head right now, and I just want to get them all out into a video so you can basically get my uncensored opinions on what's going on right now. And today we are going to be doing a Let's Talk on the new Steam Box, which may or may not have been announced at CES. You may have seen it around YouTube already. Basically, a company called Xi3 makes these really small computers. And they have teamed up with Valve to bring you the Piston. And it's not actually been said in as many words as this is a Steam Box. But obviously, you've got the naming kind of thing going on. So you've got a Valve, Steam, and a Piston. It all seems to kind of add up to the fact that this may be what we're actually looking at for a new Steam Box console / computer or whatever. But at the same time, guys, remember just 24 hours ago, there was Nvidia Shield. And that is basically a controller which is competitive with the Ouya, which there's been lots of hype about now for quite a while. And that will allow you to stream wirelessly if you've got a 6 series Nvidia GTX graphics card. Stream your computer wirelessly to your big screen TV and play with a controller. So at first, a lot of people thought that this was going to be the big Steam Box announcement for CES when they saw it. And then today we've got the Piston talk, and it's like, okay, so what's going on? Well, basically, I'm just going to quickly go over my opinions on, is this the real Steam Box? And my answer is kind of a shady maybe. Maybe. Because I believe the Piston, although has the capability to actually, it looks the part, it sounds like it's going to be powerful enough to be the part, I'm still kind of a little bit drawn in two directions if this is just going to be one of many Steam Box systems we are going to see coming out in future. I kind of like to believe that the Steam Box name is going to be almost like Google is with the Nexus tabs or the Chromebooks, where many kind of manufacturers can produce their own hardware and it will get the big Steam stamp of approval, and that will be considered a Steam Box. What is interesting and has worried a few people so far is that you're looking at this really small compact system and you're thinking, how much power is there really in there? Like, really, is it going to be able to run the latest games on high graphics and, I don't know, just stay up to date with when the new consoles come out? Because don't forget, we need to actually take a step ahead in order to secure longevity for any new consoles, or in this case the Steam Box, which is to be released. And I've kind of got a bit of good news for those of you that don't know a lot about graphical architecture, and that is when there is a limited number of possibilities with hardware. So when there's only 5 graphics cards on the market, when there's only 3 or 4 processors which are going into these boxes, it is very easy for the game developers, provided that the skilled developers, it is very easy for them to kind of optimize around this small selection of hardware. So it might be surprising, even if the actual system doesn't sound amazing when we hear the full specs released, I think you'll be surprised at how much power these developers will be able to squeeze out of something once drivers have totally matured. They've got time with the hardware. They know they don't have to look at 1,000,001 combinations. And I believe it'll still be PC games that we play on our computers right now, except we'll have a Steam Box option to select from, or maybe the name of the console or the Steam Box that you've got to select from, which will then optimize. And I do believe that we're actually going to see this little box, which may not have the specs of a computer, which is on paper quite a lot powerfuler, actually beat it in performance. And I'd really hope to say that. Another interesting thing that has been mentioned is apparently in Germany there was a bit of a leak that it is confirmed now that the Steam Box will be running on Linux. The Piston is Linux compatible, so that kind of makes you think maybe there is something more going on here. So the great thing with Linux, open platform. You don't have to go and pay Microsoft to install Windows 7 or Windows 8 on every single Steam Box. And Valve aren't kind of limited by decisions that Microsoft make, by licensing fees. And also, with Linux, you seem to be able to get a lot deeper into the actual hardware side of things. The downside of using a Linux operating system, obviously, is the lack of DirectX. But it's not the end of the world. We have got OpenGL. OpenGL is basically open graphics library, and it's been around for longer than DirectX, and it is fully featured, just kind of neglected. There are still some champions of OpenGL out there, such as John Carmack is the big one that most of you would have heard of, who made the Quake games and Doom, and yeah, he likes OpenGL, so if he likes it, I think it's good enough for us all. But what is also quite important to note is most gaming consoles run on some derivative of OpenGL, apart from obviously the Xbox, which is all locked out of, and it's pure DirectX. That's why the X is in Xbox, DirectX box. That's what it was actually going to be called at first, which is a little fact for you guys. So, what happens if Steam releases a Steam box which runs on Linux? Well, first off, it is not the big positive situation that we was all hoping for, that our whole Steam libraries will be available for us to play on this little box on our PC, because obviously not all games run on Linux. But, and this is a big but, it is possible that a lot of the games will start to get ported over. For instance, recently, Killing Floor was released on Steam to run with Linux. Not only Killing Floor, we had Dungeon Defenders, Team Fortress 2, Left 4 Dead. I'm assuming the rest of the Valve games, CS and everything like that is going to come pretty soon as well. We get an awful lot of indie games which are releasing on Linux. But what is more important is not the actual games themselves, but the game engines that the games are made on. So, when you look at Dungeon Defenders and Killing Floor, they both run on Unreal Engine. One's Unreal Engine 2.5, and then we got Unreal Engine 3, I believe. Don't quote me on that. Killing Floor might be on Unreal Engine 3, I'm just not certain. But that shows that Unreal Engine, which is like 50% of all the games produced for the consoles, will run on Linux natively. So that's great. That's good news. It gives us a bit of a chance to basically see that it is possible that these games may come out. Also, we have got CryEngine, which are thinking about porting over their engine to Linux, which, if that happens, that'd be great. Source Engine, obviously already there. Valve have already announced that they're working on a new game engine, which I would assume would run on Linux, since as they're trying to champion this change right now. And basically, as more people switch over to OpenGL, support for OpenGL will obviously increase, drivers will improve in efficiency, and hopefully we will basically see an actual performance increase on relatively standard PC hardware through just refining what we can actually do with engines which run on OpenGL. So as I mentioned, there are quite a few games already on the Linux, only 43 on Steam. There are quite a lot more which have actually been released which aren't on Steam, and even versions of games that are on Steam, yet Steam doesn't have a Linux version. I don't know why. There might be some other determining factors. Sometimes the Linux version is distributed by a different company and publisher, so that could be something to look into. So, what are the problems if this Steam box is true? Do we have anything to worry about? Are there any issues that may be a little bit concerning? Well, to be honest, yes, there is, guys. If this happens and all of a sudden we see people making a switch over to Linux, it'll be a slow transition. A lot of people are very used to their Windows operating system. I wouldn't switch over to Linux tomorrow simply because I do video editing. My video editing software isn't available on Linux right now. Then again, it's a circle, and it's something which just kind of multiplies in popularity. So the more people that move over to Linux for gaming means that more people move over to Linux in general, which means Linux grows in popularity, meaning that eventually Adobe and Sony and everything might start making Linux versions of their software to release on Linux, obviously. And the good thing about that is all of a sudden Windows dominance would fall a little bit. I'm actually not a big hater of Windows. I'm not a massive fan of Microsoft, but I'm not a big hater of Windows. And what I'd like to see is Microsoft kind of being a little bit humbled by this and kind of just make them think a little bit like, okay, maybe, just maybe we have taken the piss for the last 5 to 10 years and it is going to bite us in the ass. And I believe that's some competition to a big operating system. I know that there's Mac out there, but I honestly believe that Mac is very much its own entity right now and isn't actually classed as a direct competitor to the PC in the majority of cases. Where if Linux started taking away some of PC's numbers, then I could imagine Microsoft being very humbled and slowly starting to correct some wrongs that they've done undoubtedly over the past years. So yeah, the Steam Box could be true, could not be true, and we don't know much about it right now, guys, but just to let you guys know, there's something happening right now. There is something happening right now, and I would love to hear what you guys think about it. So please do leave me a comment. I will try and get back to every single comment. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that I've shed a bit of light on what the future of Steam Box gaming could be. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. I've been the Xi3. Don't forget to slap that subscribe button for some more PC gaming goodness, and I will catch you again very soon. Peace out, guys. Bye-bye.